order. Pledge of Allegiance, Marion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We are attempting to conduct our town board meetings in a very open forum to create an opportunity for dialogue with town residents to further the goals of transparency and accountability. Town board meetings are a time to conduct town business, an important part of which includes hearing from the public. 2 times are set aside for public comments and questions. Please be respectful and use discretion when speaking. When not speaking and when other business is being conducted, please refrain from speaking amongst yourselves. Please understand that town board meetings need to be productive to get the business of the town accomplished. At this time, we are not limited speaking time, but please be as direct and to the point as possible. Thank you. Now I will open the floor for public comments and questions on agenda items only. Is there anyone?
Betty Albrecht. I've been Park Secretary for 23 years and most recently Recreation Secretary. I've been through many supervisors through the 23 years and also many park managers. But I just wanted to say, out of the 8 years that Rob has been with us, the park has added the most programs, the most computer upgrades to our software. So I'd like to just say in your discussion about whether he should go away to conferences, whenever he comes back, he always brings good ideas back to us. So I would recommend sending Rob to the conventions each year, the conferences. So that's my thoughts. It makes things easier in the park office. The whole town benefits, we get more programs, and he runs a very good town park.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Lizette Hitzman-Verbank, I'd just like to follow up on what Betty said. I know that going to the National Convention is a little bit pricey, but I always considered it an investment for the town because Rob always brought back more than we spent on him in the way of new innovations and information back to us. So please consider it as an investment for the future for the town.
Thank you. Is there any other?
Karen Foley, South Smith Road. I agree with the past 2 motions for that it's what Rob has done for the park has been phenomenal. We've spent our entire childhood lives here and volunteered and participated in the programs, and I think it's an integral part of him bettering himself to better us and our community. Thank you.
Tim Dunham, Highview Road. About Rob Matz going to a conference. I would like to get some clarification. It's not whether or not he's going to a conference, it's which one. Mm-hmm. Okay, so can somebody tell me how much better is the one that's $2,000 that it's going to bring in so much of a difference that it's worth $1,000 more, which is tax money, which is some of my money.
Well, we're really not sure at this point at the cost on one of them. We haven't received cost yet. Rob, do you know what the cost?
I received the email that you got today. The only price that wasn't on the state one was the actual cost of the conference. So it was $895 plus another $250, which brings it up to 11, whatever it might be. So 11 something versus roughly, it looks like it might be 1800 or so. The difference between the two, I was looking at the vendors this morning, even from a vendor standpoint, checking out new products, playgrounds and everything else. There are 36 vendors signed up for the state conference. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of vendors, 300+ vendors. That's a vendor standpoint only. From a speaker standpoint, you have hundreds of sessions to go to from professionals across the nation. There's also the networking, that 5,000+ people that come to the conference every year, as opposed to about 150 right now that come to the state conference.
What is the cost for the conference itself?
For which
In
one? The
Missouri.
national conference is
Yeah.
roughly about $1,800 for everything combined. The state conference was around 11 something.
Well, it was 175. I think are you literally asking for the price?
The price of the
conference?
actual
Oh,
conference?
the actual conference. I think the state conference was $250,
Oh, maybe it was 250.
and the national conference is $450.
Okay. And out of all those hundreds of sessions and everything, how many do you feel that you'll be able to actually attend?
They literally go once every hour for the 3 or 4 days that I'm there. From first ones start around 8:15 in the morning. There's usually a break for exhibit halls, break for lunch, and so I'd say I go 2, maybe 3 in the morning, depending upon which ones I go to. And again, same in the evening. So you're looking at, quite frankly, close to 10, 12 sessions throughout that time period.
You're allowed to go to 12 out of 70 on the state level conference. In the national conference, you're allowed to go to 14 sessions out of 197, the topics that are discussed.
So you would attend about the same number for both then?
Roughly, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other?
Sorry, I have to say, I don't know if this gentleman has had children in any of the programs here at Time More, but I think it is of great value that Rob continues to attend these conferences as the gentleman and whomever had gone down to New York City or wherever it was that you went, and we paid for that, and I don't know how much benefit that was to us as taxpayers. As a member of this park and having children and seeing what Rob has done over the years is quite impactful. And I don't think that you can deny that he gained more knowledge, even though he was slammed at the last meeting for 2 things that he brought back. And it was only 2 things that he just happened to mention of the multiple things that he learned. As in any, business, I think it was brought up at the last meeting, people attend conferences, you gain knowledge, you bring things back to your community. And anybody that has children who are involved in the programs that he has brought forth to us, I think it's extremely important that we continue to let him be educated, let him figure things out, and make great choices for our families.
I have to say that education is a must. I did not go to New York City. There was not enough money for me to go. Mr. Frazier went. He, by the prior town board, they wanted him to go and they voted on it and we all agreed with letting him go. Mr. McMorris would have liked to go for the whole time. He was not able to. There was just not enough money. There was a 6.1% tax increase and I just felt that there was not enough money, unfortunately. And I really do think education is wonderful.
No, I did go.
Dave went,
I
but he
went.
was not able to stay there and attend everything. The money just wasn't there. So I do agree with you that education is a wonderful thing and we should all have it. Is there anything else?
I do have one more. I agree with everybody else's statement. I think that Rob should go to the national conference. But what I wanted to bring up regarding this was, and Tim, it'll actually speak a little bit about what you were talking about, your tax dollars. Councilman McMorris, last week you were upset about the zombie camp program that we
Yeah.
brought back. Well, for $2,000 and going to this conference, the zombie camp this year is actually expected to profit, not even, like this is profit, $4,600 this year. If we max out in the following years like we normally do with our other camps, we have the opportunity to possibly generate up to $18,000 profit. And that's from a $2,000 investment. So these are the things. So even if there was nothing else going on, the only thing we had, and I didn't bring back any other certifications, I didn't bring back any other ideas, didn't bring anything else back to this table except for a zombie camp for that entire week of education that I got, would still be looking at a $4,600 profit. And that is exponential because it's not just 1 year of $4,600. It's year after year after year of continuing 4,600 plus. If anything moves the same way of all of our other programs, they're going to expand, they're going to keep going, and they're going to grow. And that's what it does. It's going to cost us this year, I think I was looking at maybe if it costs us $23,000 to run this camp, we're still coming out ahead by $4,600 if we even make our goal. And if we don't make that goal, we spend less money anyways because we're not spending tuition, we're not spending buses and things like that we would normally have. So that cost goes down. So that little investment of $2,000 pays off in one program that we got from it, let alone the staff training, let alone the other professional development that goes on. Oh, wait.
No, I'm listening.
I really need your full attention. I think I deserve that. You got an expert in the field here, is what it comes down to, is you have an expert. You have a highly educated person who knows what they're talking about, who's been doing this for many, many years. And I'm not daft to the fact that the town needs to save money. That's everybody's objective here. You came into office knowing that. Everybody does. However, we've got one opportunity every year to get a great education. Who wants to go to a mediocre place? Nobody does. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. We all love that. It's great. The conference is amazing around every corner. But you have to realize why I go. And that's to benefit not just me. I do benefit from it because I learn a lot. But it's to benefit the town in general. And it has over the years. You've got people who are telling you this. And you've got a board who needs to not be short-sighted in this, needs to see this investment that we're doing. And for $2,000, yes, I think it's a worthwhile investment. If you want me to take $2,000 out of my budget, I will gladly find a place to take $2,000 out of my budget, and then you don't even have to worry about it, because I'll give you that $2,000 back from somewhere else that I can find over anywhere else, actually. It's that important. But if you want to go, you want to send me to a state conference for $1,000, well, actually, first of all, I can't even go because I'm not here that Sunday. I'm leaving Friday night, flying to Florida to see my in-laws, and coming back that Sunday, and I won't be back in time for the state conference anyways. So it's off the table regardless because I'm not seeing my in-laws. So that's off the table. But you're proposing to give me $1,000 to go to another conference, which is silly. For me to spend $1,000 of my own money to go and make the town more money. I think that's rather a slap in the face to me. So I'm making the town money already, and I think that it's important that you actually do invest in this.
I just want to clarify one thing from the last meeting. Are we currently a CAPRA accredited park?
No.
Okay. So I think that up until recently when I did my own research, I feel like there's been some kind of impression to indicate that we are.
I've never made that impression. I've always said that I want to be. I've always said it takes about 3 years to do, and the only way to do that is to invest in doing the program, to go through that entire book and go through each and every portion of that. I've never said that we are. Every single time I've mentioned it, I said it would be a great thing for us to do.
Okay, and just to clarify too, it's not 115 in the United States, it's 142.
Yes, I didn't say that. Councilman McMorris said 115.
Just to correct everything that was stated at the last
Right,
meeting,
but those aren't important
140.
facts right now. I mean, quite frankly, those have nothing to do with the conference that we're talking about. I mean, what we're talking about is whether it's worth $1,000 extra to bring in extra thousands of dollars worth of programs, training and everything else. Not just training for me, but I bring this back to our staff members, bring this back to our summer people, and they get the same training.
So what you're telling me is without this conference, you cannot bring extra revenue.
No, I'll do my job every way I can. That's what I do. I'm very proud about what I do.
'Cause you're-
But what
I
I'm
mean,
saying,
you're standing here and you're telling me you're an expert in your field, don't you?
I am an
feel-
expert in my field.
And you are. And I'll agree with you, but don't you feel it's time that somebody else should get this education and get this chance?
we're sending Jessica to a conference in next week.
Exactly, Jessica's
And-
going next week,
Yes.
but I didn't even go.
This isn't about your conference. This isn't about you. This isn't about your
No,
conference.
this is
And
not
that's
about me, but
understood.
This is about the money being spent.
Right, so would
And I would love to stand here and argue with you, or sit here and argue with you, or whatever, but.
So it's about, if it's about the money that's spent, if it's about the money that's spent, then let me find $2,000 in my budget to take out. You get 2,000 instead of 1,000, and everyone's happy. I get to the conference, I get to educate myself and educate my staff members when we get back, and you're still getting $2,000 out of my budget that I'll find somewhere. And that way it's not being.
At the cost of cutting people's salaries?
No,
cutting
it doesn't have to come there.
people's
It
hours,
doesn't have to come from people's
and
salaries or hours.
You cut your staff even.
From the pool that everybody else is complaining about, apparently.
Well, I'm not complaining about anything, but
Complaining about $1,000 right
you
now.
cut,
Yeah, Rob,
I would complain about $1
I know.
because I made a promise to the residents that I was going to try and stay below the tax cap, and every dollar counts.
It does
It really
count, so
does.
when you spend 2,000 and let me bring in 4,600, I
What
think,
did you bring
think,
in last year because
Last-
of,
I didn't know I was gonna need to actually bring in those numbers last year. This is a new conversation.
okay.
So I'm not really sure, I didn't do the research to find out what dollar value I brought
Would you
in.
like us to table this until?
No.
you can-
absolutely not.
We're not really at the motion
Rob,
anyway.
yeah, you brought in $42,000 extra last year, is what you're saying from that last camp? Or
No,
how many-
no, that was, see, that's why you needed to not play with your phone. No. I
All
would,
right, yeah. How much did you bring in from the new programs last year?
we didn't have this program last year.
Okay, you didn't have
We
that program
learned-
last year, so you're saying you.
This is
okay.
the first summer since I went to that last conference.
Last year, over what was approved for your budget
Mm-hmm.
and what you spent, you saved $62,000, almost $63,000.
Which budget? I have a couple of budgets. I don't know what you're looking at.
2015.
I don't know which budget you're looking at, though.
I'm looking at the figures that you gave us, these
From the PowerPoint?
from PowerPoint. And I took those figures and I added them up. Your budget this year went up 8.54%,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Did you,
last year,
did you see what my projected
had-
revenue went up?
Your projected revenue?
Yeah. Did you look at the budget and find out what the projected revenue was? Did you also notice that it
All
went
I
up
know is that
considerably?
When we're figuring
Well,
out the taxes.
you
we're
have to
looking
look at it balanced.
76
You're
we're
using
looking at
projected numbers.
$76,000 that you have in your budget this year, which was, last year was 7,500.
Okay?
You have to include the revenue side in that as well, Dave.
Well, I'm looking at the revenue side.
No, you're not, because that didn't happen. If you're saying my budget went up 8% last year, and you didn't look at the
Your budget
revenue
went up 9.5% last year.
from last year, and then, but you didn't look at the revenue side of it.
The revenue side of it last year, it was, you had brought in more than your projected revenue
Yeah,
of 17,000.
yeah.
So You brought a little less than 18,000. But then at the same time, there's no electricity in those figures, there's no,
Wait, for 18,000 for what? I brought in over $350,000 in revenue last year.
you brought in over $350,000, but compared to your cost, yeah,
I don't know what you're looking at. That's the thing.
Well, you know what?
your approved
Yeah.
revenue, you brought in $17,000 more than your approved revenue,
Okay,
Yes,
that sounds like a good thing to me.
yeah.
right?
All right, you know what, we have to move on.
Yes.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Rob. Is there anyone else?
Tillman, Rob, did I understand, where are you? There you are. Can't see, can't hear, can't talk. Did I understand you to say that you could find $2,000 in your budget so that you could go to this conference?
If we have to.
That you have a little bit of fat. It's not going to impact salaries, programs, or anything like that, but you can squeeze it out.
I'm sure we can find a way. We always have extra money somewhere.
Maybe, maybe possible. Anyone else? Okay. In the past 2 weeks, I've met with several different people regarding many things. On Friday, the 19th, Corrina and I met with seniors at the senior center at the park. I was thrilled to see what they do at their meetings: play cards, read, talk, and play other games, enjoying the company of one another. That day, they were having pizza for lunch. On Tuesday, the 23rd, Mark Coviello and the Hudson Valley Heroes met at the town hall. The meeting went well. Councilman McMorris attended the meeting, and he can update us on that. On Wednesday, I met with Christian Herzog at Human Resources. I received a book containing all the information I will need during my position as supervisor. We spoke about procedures and paperwork that will need to be filed in the future. Friday, Councilwoman Kelley, Ryan Curtine, and I met with Senator Sue Serino. We spoke on behalf of our town, trying to receive help from the state for many different things. The Senator's office will be working on a couple of different ideas to get Unionville financial help in a few different areas: generator for town hall, salt shed and fencing for highway, lower salt costs for winter road salt, and also with the help in the park for the dam project, security, and replacement and repair of the bridge. Tuesday, I met with the constables, concentrating on safety measures for the parks. I would like to announce that the residents' preparedness training will be rescheduled for Monday, March 21st at 7:30 at the town hall. William Beal notified me that he needed to postpone the training from the prior announced date of March 14th. I urge the residents to really sign up and go to this. Oh, and there is a sign-up sheet in the back of the room for anyone who wants to attend that meeting. Okay. Any reports from Steve?
Yeah, I have to work off of my phone. I had trouble with my printer here tonight, but I can give a little bit more detail on what I took down at the Association of Towns. Mentioned last meeting that I attended a session about drones and regulation of the drones. The state is currently putting together legislation on controlling them. There is already some national or federal laws in place that any drone weighing over half a pound has to be registered with the FAA. And there are restrictions then regarding distances from airports that you can fly these things. I believe our park actually fits a 5-mile radius from any airport, and I believe our park is within that 5 miles of Sky Acres, and that would kind of mute any regulation that we would need here that wouldn't be permitted as a result of that. They will have some legislation in place. They didn't give us a time frame on that. They're using existing laws from other states as models, and then they suggest that the towns model their own local laws after the state law. I went to another session titled Making Governments More Efficient. The gist of that one was converting over to electronic filing as much as possible within town hall and government to eliminate paper use. Also make searching for information easier than going to a file cabinet. You just put in a keyword and can bring up the information that you're looking for. It makes fulfilling FOIL requests much faster. And they also said that the state has some grants available for the software that would be needed to implement this. Went to a session on solar energy regulation, in respect to building codes. This is a fast-growing industry, which is basically at this point unregulated. And it's because the panels are installed on roofs, it's creating problems for fire departments in their operations. And then there is the visibility concern of, fitting into neighborhoods with the ground units and such. And this is another one that the state is working on legislation for that and will hand down to the towns. Attended a session specifically dedicated to the open meetings law and learned some interesting things from that. The restrictions on us having unscheduled meetings aren't quite as strict as has been implicated here. We can do that and meet the requirements of the law by posting any meeting as early as is convenient in 2 locations and sending the notice to the newspaper. Whether the newspaper publishes that notice or not is not our responsibility. If we have notified the newspaper, we've met the requirement of the law. The venue, the 2 other venues could be this meeting because it's broadcast on TV, the town website, or the billboard out here at the end of the road. And that would meet the requirements of the law. Attended another session on shared services analysis. Basically, we went through the motions of how to compare shared services with your own independent operation and compare the costs of each to determine whether or not the shared services is actually a cost benefit. And we've found, we've done that here in the past, and in many instances have found that it would cost more to do some of the shared services that would be available to us. And then finally, I attended a session on town-owned solar fields, which is a method in which many towns are generating revenue. Bringing a solar agency in and allowing them to put a field on town property somewhere. There's 3 different methods of doing that, and the highly recommended one is what they call remote metering. Any power that would be generated from that field, wherever it is, that amount of revenue would come off a predetermined bill here at Town Hall, or town government. We could determine which account that we would want that deducted from, and that way we would get full credit for what is in the solar fields. There are a couple areas here within town that we could look into doing something like that. And that's pretty much what...
Okay, Steve, when you were in New York City, you did contact me regarding a place in Pleasant Valley to...
Yes.
Access
Absolute auctions. I networked with them
auctions.
in the vendor area.
I really need to get that going.
I sent you the phone number.
I have a copy of that card.
Okay. All right, so, should we?
Yeah,
go
I mean,
forward with that?
it's basically the same thing as
As the
international auctions. It's the same thing, except he doesn't charge a fee to come here and do the photography and set up the...
But he
the ad
charges
or
what,
anything.
10% of the sale?
No, the buyer pays that.
Okay, all right, only
It's a
because I
buyer's
did
premium.
contact Rob today,
Right.
and he also has a truck that, and so
Yeah,
I will call
and
them
Auctions
tomorrow.
International does the same thing. They charge a buyer's premium.
right,
Plus, they're gonna charge us to come
$30
and
to
put
come
the
and
ad
take the
out.
photos, and,
Right. We're Absolute Auction, and they're located
and they're right in
Pleasant
Pleasant Valley. Okay, so I am gonna go ahead with that
Yeah, sure.
on Monday.
That would be
I will try and get them here early next week
The phone
to
number's in
take
your
the
email.
photos and get this done. We have to get rid of these vehicles.
Do we know anything about Absolute Auctions, whether they have a large
nationwide. They list this stuff on the internet. It's nationwide. I can tell you that the town of Wappinger recently put some highway trucks up, and they got $17,000 in revenue from the sale of through absolute auction.
Okay, all right. Because we've had experience with the other one at the highway department that was
And they were great.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all positive also. So, I mean, it's, anyway, you want to go, it's up to everybody.
I have no problem with it. I mean, I know the guy, he's from Pleasant Valley.
Okay.
I think he's a member of the Pleasant Valley Fire Department, if I'm not mistaken. And,
Okay, so we're all in agreement that I will contact them and get them here early next
I'd
week?
rather give the money
Okay.
local.
Okay,
All right.
all right. Dave, do you have anything to report?
Well, like Steve, when I was down there, I also went to two on solar. And in fact, one of the things that they were talking about, this happened to be in yesterday's paper, which is the solarized workshops. I strongly urge anybody that's even considering solar on their houses to go to one of these solar workshops, and there's one in Pleasant Valley on March 31st from 6:30 to 8:30. And this is where they are putting groups together. It's called Solarized Northern Dutchess, if I'm not mistaken, where they get together and they make they're guaranteeing at least 10% off on the cost of the solar and the solar panels and installation. This is something that they've been doing and quite successfully throughout the state. So that's one thing I recommend to everybody. We have Mrs. Powers, Susan Powers, coming down the first meeting in April, and she'll be talking to us. Again, this is more along the lines of doing solar for the town and the town parks and the programs that are available. These programs do have a time limit on them, so it's something that should be looked at. And I would ask everybody who has any questions about solar to please come and see. We should be able to at least stabilize our electric bills for the next 10, 15 years and not be fluctuating constantly. And they are planned purchase agreements, which all meet the criteria of the state. And there is state funding. We could get up to approximately $250,000 to pay for this. I went through several classes down there on budgeting, budget controls, multi-year budgets, policies and procedures that we should be looking into, and I brought back books that I'll be more than happy to share with the other, which I plan on sharing with the other members of the town board, as well as copies of the slide PowerPoint shows, that the PowerPoint programs that they put on. There is another seminar coming up in Saratoga Springs, which I'm going to try and attend if I can afford it. This is again on solar power. And, yeah, I said I'll pay for it. That's why I said if I can afford it. It's on solar power and zoning and planning. I think it would be good if we could get some of our members of the planning board and zoning board to go up and look at it. And it is a seminar basically on zoning and planning. Met with the constables, as Supervisor Thompson said. We are looking into the policy and procedure of the constables. Since I've been in, we started out with a policy, but it had no procedures, and we had been told many years ago that we needed policy and procedure. In 2010, I got a policy and procedure put in. It was changed in 2014. There was information that we've found out since, and one of our constables is a retired police officer, and he's gone over it, and we'll be working on this constantly, and come together and with the town board and present an updated version for their approval. I think that's all I got right now.
Corrina?
I just want to apologize. I believe I may have misspoken at the last meeting. If you find a needle in Timor Park, in my 20 years, I've never found a needle in Timor Park, so I'm really glad. And myself, as a nurse, would pick that up because I know how to safely handle a needle, and I would not want anyone to get injured. But a needle in and of itself is not a crime. You haven't seen a crime, so it really can't be reported to the police. So I'm going to defer to Rob as the park manager. How would you want a resident, if they saw a needle, to handle that? Would you want them to call you? Would you want them to call the constables?
Not handling needles at all, ultimately.
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's when you find a member of our staff and we'll take care of it. But ideally, we don't want them handling needles at all.
Mm-hmm.
We've got sharps boxes and things like that. We can put them in and dispose it properly. Yeah.
So nobody touch a needle. Call
We'll take
the
care of it.
park office.
Yeah.
I assume if it's later in the day and the park staff has gone home, you can call the constables,
Perfect.
who would be possibly even around the park property. I also just want to say from our meeting with Senator Sue Serino how lovely it was. She just really sat down with us and just said, tell me about Unionville and the things that you face there. So we were able to just share a lot of things. We did ask her to sort of plead our case if there's any way to get into the countywide initiative on for the taxes, for the efficiency plan. Unionville was not a town that filed. And we weren't a town that qualified because we haven't met the tax cap in all 5 years. The tax cap has been in place. So we are asking that if we do our best to meet the tax cap, which is actually 0% this year, is what is being projected, if we would be allowed to enter that efficiency plan late, given that the majority of the board is new and on a learning curve and trying to do our best. She wasn't sure, she couldn't guarantee us that, but she was very sensitive to our needs, thinking about how we would go forward with working on the dam in Furnace Pond, which we are aware is a huge cost. Replacing the bridge, if we are to do that within Timor Park, different avenues. That money that she has available to her that we would obviously not have available to us otherwise. But it was really delightful for 45 minutes to really have her sort of hear about what our little corner of the world, which I know is a really small speck to where she is, and she really listened, and it was a great experience.
And we ran out of time.
Yeah, another meeting she had to go to.
Yeah.
Okay, I had signed up for a class in February on solar energy, but unfortunately weather was bad that evening and it was rescheduled, so I'll be going this month, March 9th. So I'll report on that at the next meeting, the 17th.
Okay.
If I can say something too,
Yeah.
this is going back to what Corrina was saying. If you see something in the park, John, you
Say
were at that
something.
meeting with me Monday night.
Yeah, the training.
We had a state trooper talking to us. He wasn't in his official capacity as a state trooper, but he went through several motions and scenarios. And we saw a nice video or PowerPoint on it. Actually, it was a video on it. If you see something, say something. Whether you think it's really important or not, pointing this out to the state police, the sheriff's office. There is a data bank in Albany that they're using. And yes, they will take care of it and they'll feed the information in. If you see something and you say it's a crime scene or drugs or something like that, you want to call the sheriff's department or the state police and let them go, because if you pick up something, it's no longer evidence. It can't be used as evidence. The police will not even accept it because it's been contaminated. There's a specific way of going through collecting evidence and they're trained for it.
Yes, good point. everyone has a responsibility to keep their eyes open, and if you see something suspicious, they may not be suspicious, but if you report it to the authorities, they will check into it, and if it is legitimate, no problem. But if it is something that should be going on, they will look further into it.
I do have a meeting tomorrow with the New York State Troopers, and I will learn a lot from them, I'm sure. Okay, discussions. I think Dave already touched on the constable policy and procedures.
Yes, I did, but we'll keep reporting on it until we come up with something.
Okay. John, did you get anything on the generators with Joy?
I contacted our grant writer. She's looked in the past with no results. She said right now she couldn't find anything, but she's still looking.
Okay,
So if
thank you.
Sereno has some connection.
Yeah, we did discuss that with her,
They're
yeah.
looking into that too.
They
the
are
state?
looking- Yep. So
I think
any help they can give us,
municipal
we're gonna
or
accept
something,
it.
something.
Yeah, okay.
Corrina, Ethics Committee?
So just to the town board, upon coming in, obviously, it's like just a lot of reading and finding out. So I was trying to go through town code and looking through all the different boards we have. So ethics board is one of the boards we have. I know we don't use it often, but it's supposed to have 5 members. I asked Mrs. DeForest to find them for me, and she was kind enough to go through and find them. We currently only have 4 out of 5 members, and out of that, 2 of them are expired. So we really need to look into reestablishing this board. Also, one of them needs to be an elected official, and the elected official that is not expired is no longer an elected official in Unionville. So really, there's only 1 person on the ethics board. So we need to look back into this and, make sure we have 5 real appointed members. Again, I know it's not something we use often, but we need to have it available and have them ready in case we needed it. And it's in the town code, so we have to follow the town code.
And on the website, isn't there a form to fill out if anyone is interested in any of? Did you put that on?
PDF?
I didn't do it because you guys didn't do it.
Okay.
We will have it.
We will have it.
Going forward. There'll be a PDF document you can access on the website, or come into town hall or call and we'll send it to you via email or mail.
It's an application.
For any of our committees, everything, every volunteer committee, I think Community Day committee is on there, library, planning board, zoning board, so that going forward, as a town board, we're all looking at a similar document when we approve somebody. It's just some simple information about you and a reference.
Okay. The MS4 compliance, we need to be by the end of 2016, so I need for George Kolb to work with the town attorney, if that is okay with the rest of the board, to give him permission
That's what we've done in the
to
past.
directly work with the town attorney. Okay? Okay, resolutions. Okay, Dave, you want to read the first one? John, do you have the first one?
Okay.
16, 17 is the first one.
It's not numbered.
Here.
Oh,
You're right, that one isn't.
okay. Resolution amending Resolution 16017. Whereas the town board of the town of Unionville passed resolution number 16017, which contained the rate of pay for the planning board secretary. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby amends resolution 16-017 by amending the rate of pay for the position of planning board secretary to $20.81 per hour, and be it further resolved that all other items in resolution 16-017 shall remain in full force and effect. The question of the adoption of the foregoing resolution was put to a vote. Roll call. So-
Town board discussion? Oh,
Yeah, I would like to amend this resolution to read that the chairman of the planning board would determine the number of hours necessary.
Steve, 2 meetings ago, you voted on the number of hours. Why are you changing it now?
Because I am. I believe, I've learned since then that the number of hours allotted are not going to be enough to complete the job at hand. And we're not the amount used in the previously. So I would like this to be amended to read that the chairman of the planning board determine the number of hours necessary.
On a monthly basis?
Yeah, as needed. I mean,
Well,
I don't believe.
The last resolution read that the person could get more hours as needed.
In writing to the supervisor.
Right.
Yeah.
He's saying planning board chairman.
I've made a.
And I
I've
would
made
work
a.
closely with the planning board chairman on this.
You know, I've spoken with him as well. I mean, this is my
Okay.
motion.
Does anyone want to?
I'll second the motion with that amendment.
Oh. Do you want to do a roll call vote?
This is on the amendment.
So it's John and Steve.
It has to go to vote now,
Okay, it's going to vote for
the amendment.
the amendment? Okay. All in favor of the amendment?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. No.
You're voting no?
Yeah.
And Corrina
Corrina
voted no?
voted no, Dave voted no.
I'll vote for the resolution.
And now we're gonna vote on the resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't
Or
know
no.
if it was ever seconded. Was it ever seconded?
Nobody
No.
seconded it?
I'll
No one
second,
seconded.
I'll
All right.
second it.
She'll second it.
Okay, and this is the vote on the resolution itself.
Yes, and Corrina seconded.
Yeah.
Corrina, Dave, myself said aye. John and Steve say no. You ready, Mary Lou? I offer the following and move for its adoption. Resolution appointing zoning board of appeals members. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby appoints Ilana Nielsen to the position of town of Unionville zoning board of appeals member for the term expiring December 31st, 2017, and be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby appoints John Hughes to the position of town of Unionville zoning board of appeals alternate member for the term ending December 31st, 2018. Town board discussion?
I know that Alana has been spoken to. Has John been spoken to about this position?
I emailed John and notified him that he was not on the planning board, and I said to him, "Are you interested in the ZBA?" And he said, "Yes, anything,
Okay.
thank you." So that was his response.
Okay.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Am I doing this really long?
Yeah, why don't we do this really long one first? I'm gonna jump to the motion to order Brusco Heights public hearing for the drainage district for 4/7/16 at the regular town board meeting. And Corrina's gonna read.
I won't be insulted if you need to leave. It's 5 pages, bear with me. Whereas the written petition of RC Holdings, Inc., Benjamin P. Zimmerly, Kimberly L. Zimmerly, and Alexander Sarakis, dated October 12th of 2015, and executed by Antonio Rodriguez as president of RC Holdings and owners of the taxable real estate in said proposed drainage district as shown upon the latest completed assessment roll of the town of Unionville, having been duly presented to the town board of the town of Unionville, requesting that a drainage district be known as the Brusco Heights Drainage District, which is more particularly described in the attached map, plan, and report of Brusco Heights Drainage District dated May 29th of 2015 and last revised September 24th of 2015, prepared by Lawrence J. Paggi, PEPC. And whereas the petitioners are the owners of 100% of the property contained in the proposed drainage district, and whereas the properties to be included within the Brusco Heights Drainage District consist of those properties described in Schedule A attached hereto and hereby incorporated therein. And whereas the aforementioned map, plan, and report has been prepared in a manner and in such detail that this town board has determined that said map, plan, and report is in accordance with the requirements of Article 12 of the town law. And whereas the improvements proposed in and said district consist of the construction, installation, and maintenance of a drainage system and related improvements to serve the properties within said district in accordance with certain plans incorporated in the map, plan, and report dated May 29th of 2015, last revised September 24th, 2015, and which is hereby approved and adopted by this town board and is now on file in the office of the town clerk. And whereas RC Holdings Incorporated is the owner of the Brusco Heights subdivision and shall construct said drainage system at its own expense, and once the drainage facilities required for this subdivision have been properly constructed to the satisfaction of the town, the drainage facilities shall be transferred to the town of Unionvale and/or the Brusco Heights Drainage District without any cost to the town, and all costs and expenses occasioned by the creation of this district shall be borne by RC Holdings Incorporated. And whereas RC Holdings Incorporated shall install all improvements referenced in the map, plan, and report and dedicate same to the district upon completion thereof. And whereas the improvements to be constructed for the Brusco Heights Drainage District shall be such facilities and related appurtenances, including but not limited to a dry detention pond, 2 bioretention areas, 2 bioretention sedimentation basins, 2 bioretention pretreatment swales, 3 outlet control structures, a stormwater manhole, 338 linear feet of 18-inch HDPE, 181 linear feet of 8-inch HDPE, riprap swale, grass swales, drainage swale, 2 hardened stormwater management practice access roads, fencing, and gates. And whereas the maintenance of all drainage easements and incidental improvements and expenses in connection therewith is more fully described in the map, plan, and report herein further described. And whereas, following the aforementioned construction and dedication of the improvements to the town, the cost for and maintaining the district shall be assessed, levied, and collected from the several lots and parcels of land within the said district in proportion to the benefit which each lot and parcel of land in said district shall derive thereof from as set forth in the map, plan, and report. And whereas in the map, plan, and report, including an estimate of cost has been prepared in such manner and detail as heretofore has been determined by the town board of the town of Unionvale, Dutchess County, New York, relating to the establishment of the proposed drainage district of the town of Unionvale, Dutchess County, New York, to be known as the Brusco Heights Drainage District. Whereas maximum estimated cost of said improvement to the town is 0, and whereas there is no hookup fees proposed to the typical property in the Brusco Heights Drainage District, and whereas the estimated cost of the Brusco Heights Drainage District for the first year budget will be approximately $5,625, which divided equally among the 7 lots will result in a cost of $803.57 per lot. Whereas a detailed explanation of the manner in which the computations for the estimated first year cost to the typical property in Brusco Heights Drainage District is contained with the aforesaid map, plan, and report, which has been filed in the office of the town clerk, where the same is available during regular office hours for examination by any person interested in the subject matter thereof. And whereas the town board determines that the creation of this drainage district is a type 2 action as defined in 6 NYCRR 617.5 and in chapter 120 of the code of the town of Unionvale, and accordingly, the town board hereby expressly determines that this action is not an action that requires review pursuant to the provisions of New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQA, or pursuant to chapter 120 of the town of Unionvale, or pursuant to 6 NYCRR Part 17. And whereas is now desired to call public hearing on the establishment of the Brusco Heights Drainage District, all pursuant to section 209-D of the town law. Now therefore be it ordered that the town board of the town of Unionvale, Dutchess County, New York, as follows. Recitations incorporated. The recitations above have been set forth or incorporated in this order as if fully set forth and adopted herein. Number 2, public hearing. The town board hereby determines that a meeting of the town board of the town of Unionvale, Dutchess County, New York, shall be held at Town Hall, 249 Duncan Road, LaGrangeville, New York, in said town on the 7th day of April 2016 at 7:30 p.m. for the purpose of holding a public hearing to consider the establishment of the Bruscal Heights Drainage District described herein, and to consider the map, plan, and record dated May 29, 2015, and last revised September 24, 2015, filed in relation thereto, and to hear all persons interested in the subject matter thereof concerning the same, and for such other action on the part of said town board as may be required by law or authorized by law. Number 3, publication and posting. The town clerk is now hereby authorized and directed to cause a copy of this order to be published once in the Poughkeepsie Journal, the official newspaper of the town. The first publication thereof is to be not less than 10 nor more than 20 days before the day set herein for the hearing as aforesaid. And said town clerk shall also cause a copy thereof to be posted on the signboard of the town maintained pursuant to subdivision 6 of section 30 of town law, and to send by first-class mail a copy thereof to each owner of taxable real estate within the proposed Bruscal Heights Drainage District as shown on the latest complete assessment of the town. Number 4, this order shall take place immediately.
Town board discussion?
Nope.
No?
I think
Second.
this has gone through the planning board,
Yes.
all through the legal.
All
It's been
through
a
the
long,
whole everything.
long journey.
And
It's
we were
been
told we
years.
had to read this, so do you want to do a roll call vote, Mary Lou, please?
Yeah. Supervisor Tompkins,
Yeah.
John Welch,
Yes.
Steve Frazier,
Aye.
Dave McMorris.
Aye.
Corrina Kelley.
Yes.
So Mary Lou, you'll have no problem getting this in the paper on that
Well, I'm
schedule?
gonna have to speak with Al to get a
Before.
public hearing notice from him.
Yeah. They're very specific.
There isn't one.
Not less than 10 days, no more than 20 days
Yeah.
before the date set,
Oh, yeah.
before April
Also
7th.
15.
You gotta be precise.
15 days.
15 days.
Yeah.
Do 12. Okay, Dave, do you want to make a motion to approve the signage for Route 55 project?
I'll make a motion to approve the signage for the Route 55 project. It's something that has to be done.
Yeah, and our highway superintendent did notify me that he is in the process of working on this.
I'd like to say something about that. Since that presentation here a couple of weeks ago by the New York State DOT, I've checked into it and I find that towns can post weight limits on town roads. A good example is Spring Road over in the town of Poughkeepsie. Last year that road was closed for about 4 months. They completely redid it. When they reopened it, they put up a sign limiting the weight of trucks going on it because of the nature of the road. I don't see why our town highway superintendent couldn't put weight limit signs on our roads, especially Wisseman Road, where he feels heavy trucks could do significant damage.
Right, and I did speak to one of the Dutchess County sheriffs the day of the Helmar presentation, and I did ask about that. I put that forward, I said, can we put a weight limit on these roads? The only problem with that was, yes, you can put a weight limit on them, but in order to enforce this weight limit, then the sheriffs would have to carry scales with them. I mean, yeah, you can determine a large truck is overweight. So
Well-
the weight limits would have to be really low. We'd have to find out the weight between a passenger vehicle and,
Well, some of these big trucks
dump
are
truck.
extremely heavy.
right, but then you have the 10-wheelers and a 6-wheeler, I mean.
Right. I would
we
think
have
it's
to determine
beneficial
the
to post
weight.
something.
Yeah,
You're not gonna stop everything, but you're gonna reduce the amount of overweight trucks on our roads.
so maybe we can speak to the highway superintendent about doing this.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just isn't added.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I
Defense.
think if we were to put down a weight limit, like what our highway trucks weigh,
Buying sounds.
and say, and you have to allow for local
They
delivery.
have to do that if they're.
True.
Other
That if
than
we put
local
down
delivery,
what
you can put on the sign.
our highway trucks weigh, and this way here, I mean, we know that it'll take the weight of our highway trucks.
Yeah.
I hope.
They'd have to, because that's who plows it.
The bridge should be rated for a certain weight. I don't think we're,
I'm not
We
talking
are
bridges, I'm
deciding.
talking roads.
The roads.
The bridges are automatically weight,
Yeah.
okay.
restricted.
So we would be putting up a weight, like a weight limit sign on each
On
of the
each
roads
road.
along.
On any roads that
along
are
with,
sensitive
please
to
do
weight
not use
of
this.
being damaged by heavyweight trucks. And that could be all of them, I don't know, the highway superintendent is the best judge of it, but I think it would be an added protection for us.
And I don't think he's, at that time of year, gonna be bringing plow trucks over that road, so, or those roads.
I hope not.
I hope not.
I don't know, the weather's weird.
Is that
Yes,
something
ma'am.
that we would lift then after the construction and the detour is done?
Yeah, you would think.
Sure.
So did someone make a motion to do this? Approve the signage?
Dave made the motion.
Well, John made the, I'll second it.
John made the motion?
Yeah.
And
Right,
you
John?
seconded?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you
you
seconded?
second it. Town board discussion, I think we're done with.
I am, I mean,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we did the resolution to appoint the ZBA. Motion to close the gates at Timor Park when park is closed, starting on Monday. Is there any town board discussion on that?
Just, how is this gonna be taken care of?
Dawn to dusk. Rob always took care of it. The park people, who
The
always
constables
closed?
close the gate.
The constables closed the gate.
Yeah,
Okay.
we open the gates when we open.
And you open the gates in the
upper
morning.
gate, though, is, just to make sure everyone knows beforehand, that it's an automatic gate, and, we did think that we were gonna have until the middle of April. It wasn't working properly, so we'll try and get that fixed right away, starting tomorrow. But, if we need to order parts or something like that, then the upper gate might be delayed.
Okay, so
But
Monday
we'll
night
try.
is a good,
If you start it Monday night, then we'll work on it.
you don't even have to lock it if it doesn't work
And-
yet. I mean, just having it closed.
just
is
having
gonna
it
deter.
closed is gonna deter, yeah.
Well, it won't, you'd have to take pins out of the gate. It wouldn't be,
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
the
would it be
upper gate-
functional?
Not properly, no.
Because my concern would be fire calls and other emergencies.
My concern as well. Yeah. But we wouldn't be able to, as soon as the upper gate is operational, I can notify everyone, if that's better. And I'll also notify the fire department to let them know that the gates are closed, so if they're coming through on an emergency call, that they'll need to be aware of that prior, so that they have the codes and everything that they would need.
So Monday's giving you enough time, you think?
Yeah, unless we need to order parts for the gate,
Okay.
but yeah, we should be able to work on that.
Okay.
He'll just let us know if it's not.
I'd like to add to that, that we should be also locking Godfrey Park. You talk to neighbors down there, and you have people going in there late at night, and
Are there gates at Godfrey Park?
there are gates at Godfrey Park, yes.
So the constable should be doing that?
Yes.
That had been done in the past, when did it stop
Yeah, when
being
did it
done?
stop being
The
done?
winter, it's the same with the winter.
Okay, because of the snow plowing?
Yeah, normally we keep the gates from November 1st through April 15th open.
Perhaps we should look into putting gates down there like we have at Trail K and at the top here at Duncan Road, that type of gate, so that the snow doesn't really affect it.
It's
So they can be
not so
slid
much the
open.
gates that it affects, it's the locks that freeze and you can't open them. And if there's an emergency, there's no way to get in when the locks are frozen. We sit at these gates a number of times in the late October that the locks are frozen, we have to come back later when the sun comes back out to thaw them and keep them
Yeah.
open. So
But if the fire company had to get in there, they will.
Absolutely, but still, I think that realistic, then we can't get into our own parks in the morning and everything else. So I don't think that from a winter standpoint, I'm just putting it out there as somebody who operates those every day.
Well, we've had people coming down and saying that, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you have people in Trail K. The people up in Burbank have complained about people going into the parks all hours of the night. Mr. Ward has complained about people down here doing wheelies at 2 o'clock in the
I'm
morning,
just
3
giving
o'clock in the
you
morning.
my reasoning as to why we don't do it.
And we will,
And we're doing it now.
we're doing it now, as long as everyone,
I agree.
town board discussion's over. Do I have a second?
So are we doing
I'll
both
second it.
Timor Park and
Yes.
Godfrey Park?
Yeah.
Who made the
I'll second
motion?
it.
You seconded, who made it?
I'll make the motion.
I made the motion,
okay.
I read it.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Dave seconded it. And this is for Timor Park and Godfrey Park.
And Godfrey.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
You mentioned Trail K, don't we include that in this as well?
Which
Well,
one's
Trail
Trail
K
K?
is- Trail K is-
That's
Oh, that's part
always
of Timor
locked,
Park.
right?
Yeah, that's, the
Trail
constables have
K?
been closing that.
It's up past Perkins Lane,
The one, if you go back
Right.
towards my house.
just past,
Oh.
up by the farm, all the way up to the
I
farm.
mean, you said that there were people in there at 3 o'clock in the morning, and if that gate is locked, then it shouldn't be happening.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, that was before. I mean, the constables have been locking that at night.
Okay, so we can add Trail K to that too.
that was my suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's
All right.
fine.
Yep, that's fine.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, Corrina, you wanna make a motion to?
Make a motion to pay LaGrange, I guess it's Little League, for the sponsorship of baseball teams. In the past, we have sponsored 3 baseball teams, so we're proposing to sponsor the same 3 teams.
I'll second that.
How much? Dollar
It's
wise?
300 per team, I believe.
Well,
300 or 350?
But there's,
250.
yeah, because if you take
There's
the
like a
goal
renewal
renewal fee, instead of
we've
being
already had
300 a team, it's 750 for the
Okay,
renewal.
for 3, okay.
And that's what we did last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we did that one. Okay, here we go. John.
We need to vote on that, don't we?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion to second, you moved it.
Did you second?
I
it?
seconded, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Corrina, you want to read this one? Yeah, well,
Okay, following most of our public meeting discussion, the motion for Rob Mattis to attend a Park and Rec conference in St. Louis, Missouri for an estimated $2,000, or some other derivation therein. He already said he wasn't gonna go to the Long Island conference, so.
Well, he couldn't, so.
Yeah. Right, so
So
I'm
no
not gonna
need to
read
put
that
in the
one.
motion then.
Well, this is kind of vague. I think you need to specify which one it's gonna be.
Right, well, I guess that's for town board discussion.
right, I think that what Corrina was proposing was to give Rob the choice to take half the money and go to St. Louis, or go to the one in New York.
I think Rob
For the
also
1,000.
made a great idea from taking the money from somewhere different, to take it from his budget, and he would figure out how to save the money. If you were, let's say, building a house and something cost you more money in one area, you would maybe do something different in another area to save that money. So the issue is, though, that we'd be voting on an unknown expense, because you can't sign up for the conference yet. The registration is not open. Housing options aren't open till May 18th.
No matter, I don't mean to interrupt, no matter what, it's generally an unknown expense because travel expenses change daily, flights change daily.
Right.
You do every single one of these individually anyway, so technically, each one of these individual expenses is under $1,000, which is what the limit is that you would have to request anything from the town board. But knowing that we've got a cap of approximately $2,000, I don't think we have to go with an exact dollar and cents amount, knowing that we're reasonable people here. And we say we're looking at a $2,000 conference, I'm not going to come back with a $2,800 conference. So I think understanding that we're looking at roughly $2,000, I don't think we need the exact dollar amount to make that decision.
Yeah, you could make it not to exceed $2,000.
Right. And we could pull it from a different budget line. Like Rob's saying, take it out of his line.
I think that Rob should attend that national conference. It sounds very similar to the Association of Towns on a much grander scale. And he mentioned networking with the vendors. There's a great value to that alone, in learning what the new, new playground equipment is available, or even new software for him to operate his programs through. And I've brought back tremendous contacts, just through the limited number of vendors that I see down there at the Association of Towns. And I would recommend that we send him to the national conference.
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Anyone else? So Rob, are we gonna pull the money from somewhere to help you go here?
Yeah, I can find that money and basically, yeah, I can definitely do that.
Okay, there's no other town board discussion?
Okay, now, Corrina made a motion, Steve made a motion, and John seconded the motion. Which one are we going with?
Well, if we go with my original motion, we can, instead of estimate $2,000, maybe we say do not exceed $2,000. And so G on the thing, we can put it as motion for Rob Mattis to attend the Park and Recreation Conference in St. Louis, Missouri, to not exceed $2,000.
And he is willing to help us out with money from elsewhere in the budget.
Creative budgeting.
Okay, I'll second Corinna's motion then, if that's the revised version of the original motion.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay. The first meeting of the Library Steering Committee at the Town Hall on Thursday, March 10th at 7 p.m. We would like to invite any interested resident to contact any of the town board members or the town clerk's office regarding serving on the Conservation Advisory Committee. And now we will have public comments and questions.
I do just want to say, I think it's terrible that you would take away from the budget, that he has to find the money. Again, we agree that education is important. We're going to give $750 to baseball teams, and I think Rob would benefit much more from the extra money. I did want to say, yes, Absolute Auction is a great place. They've been around forever. I know that they do good work. I want to go back to the pool. I know at the last meeting, there was a big issue about the pool and whatnot. You can't have a summer camp, without a pool. Who would send their kids in a hot, summer camp all day if there wasn't a pool? Everybody questions why we're spending the money on it, and it's not a moneymaker. I think there are ways that we can promote it for non-residents to attend, because it is poorly attended by our own residents, but is reflective upon what's happening today, and people are working and they can't bring their kids and enjoy it. It's a real estate selling point. We moved here partly because there was a park, there was a pool. We didn't have Freedom Lake, but we needed something for our kids when they were older. And we've been utilizing this pool since they were 4 or 5 years old. We've taken lessons. They volunteered for 5 years. They are now lifeguards and swim instructors at that pool. We embrace our park. I did have a couple questions about the work. I didn't quite understand what was happening with 55 and 82. Is that going to be an issue with getting to Time War Park and
Depends on where you live.
Not from Highview Road, we'll have no problem.
No,
Not from
she
where?
lives on the south
I'm on South Smith.
South Parliament, yeah.
Yeah, we won't interfere with you getting here from there.
I guess I'm not,
It's the bridge that's
On
near that
Wisseman.
little strip plaza on 55, but that is
Between
just
Cunningham and
west
Wisseman.
of Wisseman Road.
okay.
The farm on
That's
55.
the bridge there. that-
And are the residents being given notices that work
Through
is,
the meeting and our webpage and stuff.
It's on the
yeah.
website.
On the website.
Andrea posted the whole packet of the 82 bridge closure.
but where
and
the
55.
local road is, are the people who live on like Cunningham and Wisseman and Parliament going to be
They
giving?
shouldn't be affected.
They will-
It's going to be closed on 55. You'll be able to come out on 55 from Cunningham. You'll be able to come out on 55 from Bruscal and Wisseman. But between Bruscal and Cunningham, that's going to be closed off.
No, between
between
Cunningham and Wisseman.
Cunningham and Wisseman.
Maybe the park can do something about when, everybody just be aware, give yourself a little extra time.
camp in the park.
Patty, isn't there gonna be an informational meeting at the town hall?
Yes, there will be
When is
an
it?
informational meeting at the town hall. I spoke to them yesterday, as a matter of fact, and they are getting back to me. We're hoping at the March 17th meeting that they will come and do a report and notify the public, and everyone should come and ask questions and learn more about it.
And I know Rich isn't here, unfortunately, yet again, but he is a former neighbor of mine, and I love him. I don't know what the damage is being taken care of from the winds and stuff. I know there's signs down that, should we notify him? I've notified him about things in the past. I assume that they're doing inspections. I know they were clearing branches and such first, but there is signage down. There's also been on my road that was just repaved a year and a half ago, and then they went and did tree work and like wrecked part of the newly paved road. So I don't understand why we're spending the money to pave the road and then go to do tree work and then again, dent in that newly paved road. It kind of is an issue with me. Other than that, I did just want to say, I'm sorry, but I think that your reaction to when Steve was speaking was a little unprofessional. You kind of mocked him, and I think if you look back on the tape, you'll see what happened. And when I watch these board meetings, because I am one of the people that watches the stuff on TV,
No, a lot of people watch it.
I'm quite ashamed, and I think you need to become cohesive as a board. Have your meetings and don't come in as kind of clueless as you seem to be, because it's embarrassing as a resident to watch these meetings. And I hope that you strengthen your bond and come together as a cohesive board. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
I'd like to remind you guys for the second time that your agenda that you did tonight did not follow this, and you didn't add anything. You sponsored the 3 Beekman teams. It's a small thing. I would like to have the complete agenda, including the written resolutions, available before the meeting, so I could at least read them. Because you all have them in front of you, you read the resolutions, and we're sitting here like bumps on a log, and all we have is this.
Where did you get that agenda?
Mary Lou had it.
And the revised agenda is on the door.
Excuse me. Okay.
Letter
I'm sorry.
E, I think you were referring to the
Yeah,
range baseball
I know what
teams,
you-
not Beekman,
yeah.
right? That's letter E on the
Yeah,
agenda.
right.
And
Okay.
that was on the door.
All right, but that is still, all right, so I'll have to pick it up the day of.
But you want more detail.
And Halmar, isn't Halmar
They're the construction company.
the
doing
construction,
revision.
they're starting to get ready for the detour signs on East Knoxon and 82. And also, since solar is so popular, and the former town board found out that we had it all set to go for propane to heat the pool, because the pool in the morning for those kids in the summer programs, they sit there and they freeze. So I think Miss Larry Padgett has something that we started for solar to heat the pool. That would be just down along the fence and just used to heat the pool. If it's a going thing, maybe something like that would be, have money available for it. And I would like to really suggest that, because the pool is so cold for the kids in the morning when they have their swimming lessons. And I like the idea that the park gates are closed, as long as you can figure out how to get the fire company through if they need to get through in a hurry. But just a closed gate is better than an open one. Then wait a minute. I think that's all though. Oh, we'd like to, Corrina, on that library committee, I'd like to emphasize, a committee is an uneven number of members, so they can't vote 5 to 5, you know, and negate whatever their, any committee in the town is an odd number of members.
Okay, let me just speak on that. The library committee is not a voting committee in any way. The steering committee is to do all of the work on behalf of the town board to create different avenues to fund the library.
Okay, if they don't vote, anybody.
They don't vote. They only can bring, and it will be one person, it'll be the chairperson, who then brings all the information that those people worked on over the course of however long it takes to put together a presentation to the town board.
Okay,
is the
well, if
only
it's
voting.
just a steering committee and no vote, that's fine.
I was also directed by the town board that I can't limit the number, so it's not up to me if, you know, 4 people come or 20, if I get an odd or even number. That's just sort of how it will be.
Is there anyone else? Okay.
I have,
One more.
Yeah, okay. I hope this gets out right. Kathy Dunham, Highview. And I just want to say, on behalf of my husband and I, we weren't against sending Rob to a conference at all. So that isn't, I don't think they were either. I think it was more, you know, Tim was just wanted information on, you know, why this one in, that's the 2001 or whatever is, yeah, more beneficial than any other one. I mean, we don't know. I don't know anything about any of them. And, you know, we're old, so the zombie camp is a little old. We're old for zombie camp. But I could see where it would be something that kids would really want. But I don't know anything about that either. Then, yep, I don't.
Anyone else?
One question before we adjourn. Are we going to act on the radios that we discussed in the emails?
Yeah, they did them today.
We should probably put into record then that we're repurposing radios that were put into surplus.
Were they put into
Yep.
surplus?
Yes, they were.
I didn't think they were ever
Yeah,
put,
they
they
were.
were?
Yes.
Okay, we are refurbishing the radios, put into surplus. We are able to use them in the new town trucks. So instead of buying new ones and selling the old ones, we are refurbishing them at a cost savings. And we just wanted to let everyone know that. It was discussed amongst the town board members via email and phone and everything else, and we together made the decision to do that.
I think I should, just for the record, I think I'm going to put that in the form of a motion,
Okay.
that we do that, or it's already been done, but I would like to authorize that,
Okay,
and have that in as a motion.
I'll second it. Town board discussion?
No?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anything else?
Just next
From the
agenda.
town board?
Next agenda items.
Okay, discussion of next agenda items. We have some reduced rates for parks and rec at the next meeting we will discuss. And is there anything else? Any of you?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Hopefully,
Not at the moment.
hopefully Helmar will be here.
Yes,
Make a
hopefully
public-
Halmar will be here to do a public.
So
That's
just
going to occur during the board meeting?
Yeah, well, they had said to me that a lot of times they come during
To
board
town.
meetings. It's a short thing to introduce themselves to the public and take questions and explain to them where they're going to be rerouting the traffic and when the closures are and when they will begin and
Yeah, plus it'll get on TV, more
Yeah.
people will be aware of it.
yeah.
watch it on the web.
So I thought it was a good idea.
Okay.
And I'm hoping they can make it to the next meeting.
At this point, the closing is planned for the 22nd
Right,
of
so
March,
it's only a week after that meeting.
Yeah, but they,
unless they change it.
by law, they have to do a public notice meeting, I think, 2 weeks before
Oh.
the closing, and I think what she said was they were gonna push that out possibly because they haven't gotten to each place to do these meetings yet. So I offered them the 17th, if not sooner. If it is sooner, I will notify people
Okay.
as quickly as I possibly can. Okay, is there any other town board discussions? Okay, I move for adjournment.
Second.